Oi, oi, lucky, lucky, oh lucky, lucky, oi.
What? Buddy!
What?
Buddy, come here! What, Jimmy Jugni, what?
Look at this.
Whoa.
Everything's gone. Someone robbed us.
Well, what are you waiting for? Go to the police! Go! Go! Sucker.
You are arrested.
What? But, officer, sir,
ਟਰੱਕ ਜਲੰਧਰ ਇੰਜਨ ਪਿਸਟਨ ਪੇਚਾ ਓਏ ਉਹ ਟਿੱਕੀਆਂ ਬੋਨਟ ਕਲੱਚ ਪਲੇਟਾਂ ਮੋਕੇ ਸ਼ਮੋਕੇ ਵੇਚਾਂ ਓਏ
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
and I'm Dennis, the Buddymeister.
And today's movie was once again picked directly for us by one of our awesome Masala Meister tier supporters. Skadoosh chose the 2008 Hindi language crime comedy Oi Lucky Lucky Oi. If you want to pick a movie for us to review, please consider becoming a Patreon on patreon.com/thejimmycage or a member here on YouTube.
Oi Lucky Lucky Oi was the second feature film by director Dibakar Banerjee, who also co-wrote the screenplay. And it was also our second encounter with him because we have already watched and reviewed the anthology film Lust Stories, for which he contributed one of the 4 episodes.
Oi Lucky Lucky Oi was inspired by the real-life super thief Devinder Singh, aka Bunty Chor, who reportedly has been involved in over 500 theft cases all across the country and is currently serving a prison sentence in Kerala.
I read that he even tried to kill Dibakar Banerjee as revenge for making this movie.
Well, the movie was rather successful. It won the National Film Award for Best Popular Film, it won a few Filmfare Awards, and it did okay at the box office.
I really liked it, and I watched it with no background knowledge whatsoever. I had no idea what to expect, and I think that worked to my benefit.
It's a fairly light-hearted comedy, and yet it was a very different kind of comedy than I was expecting. After this poster and the short trailer, I was primed for a very happy-go-lucky, broad and maybe kind of silly comedy. And then I was very surprised that the movie has an edge to it. I don't know how to best describe it, but there's a certain grit and maybe even a slight darkness to it as well. Sometimes it almost felt like a film noir comedy.
Yes, totally. I mean, the movie is kind of quirky and playful, and it lures you into believing that it's a straight-out happy-go-lucky comedy, with the music, the direction, and the first act, which is about Lucky's youth. But the more you learn about his feelings, about his inner workings that persuade him to do the things he does, the more thoughtful this movie becomes.
Let's talk about the story. We already said that it's inspired by the life of Devinder Singh. So, Abhay Deol plays Lovinder Lucky Singh, who grows up in a poor family in West Delhi, but changes his fate as he realizes his talent for stealing. He becomes a charismatic, very confident and fearless man who robs everybody and steals everything that is not nailed down.
Oi Lucky Lucky Oi starts in the present. Lucky has already been arrested, he's already become a star, and he reflects upon his life as he talks with a few police officers. So up to a certain point the story is told via flashback.
For me, one of the movie's highlights is this urban setting of Delhi. The streets, the houses, the contrast of rich people's homes and the narrower places of our characters. It was way more grounded than I expected it to be. Like I said, I thought this was going to play out more like a broad comedy.
Yeah, and I agree with the setting. The movie radiates a very special and remarkable vibe. It has a nice texture. It's hard to explain, but I think it has something to do with the colors and the costumes. It sometimes feels like you can really grab it, you know? The cinematography by Karthik Vijay is really striking.
It's really an interesting, fascinating movie, and it's shot with so much style. There are several scenes that stand out. For example, the one where Lucky steals the Mercedes. He switches cars, parks them somewhere else, all while his buddy Bangali loses his mind.
Or the other Mercedes scene with the red one. He just walks into the house, acts completely normal, takes a TV, walks out, he shouts at the security guard who opens the trunk for him, and then he just drives away.
The movie does not offer us a complete narrative or a traditional storyline. It gives us more like a glimpse into this man's life. And Lucky is an interesting character. We learn a little bit about him, but he also remains kind of an enigma, does he not?
He absolutely does, but that's what makes this movie so good. I don't need to know every little thing about Lucky. It's the things in between that matter and that meet my expectations for a coherent, comprehensible and also sensitive story that carries me along. Sure, there could have been more background story or maybe some quiet scenes that would have allowed us a deeper look inside him, but I think we also get that when we read between the lines, through the way he acts towards the end. He becomes way more manic because he has nothing but the stealing. He's addicted to it.
You can also feel his rage and his powerlessness later on with Dr. Handa. And I actually really liked Abhay Deol's subdued performance. I've only seen him in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara so far, but I thought he brought this shifty, cunning character to life really well. He's someone who plays by his own rules. He's charismatic, but also not 100% likable, I think.
He's a tragic hero. The last shot suggests nothing but that. Lucky walks away on a road to nowhere, or at least to somewhere he doesn't know yet.
With the movie being rather realistic, I'm not so sure how I feel about Paresh Rawal playing 3 roles. At this point we have seen him in many films and he's always one of the highlights. And he's very good in this one as well, but it also breaks the illusion of this world a little bit when you see him in 3 separate roles.
Yes, to be honest, I actually needed some time to realize that Lucky's father is also played by Paresh Rawal, and I guess that speaks for his versatile performances. But I still agree with your assessment. I was a bit thrown off when he suddenly appeared as Dr. Handa in the plane, and I was asking myself why they chose to do it that way.
I have no idea. I guess it highlights the influential but also kind of antagonistic figures in Lucky's life.
I don't know, I'm not saying that it hurt the movie, but it probably would have been even better if they used 3 different actors and Paresh Rawal would have just played Gogi the gangster boss. I think that was the initial idea of Dibakar Banerjee.
Coming to the songs. There are no full-fledged song sequences in the movie, but the songs that we got I enjoyed quite a bit.
Me too. Oi Lucky, Jugni, Huriyan. They're all pretty good and skillfully utilized. They kind of become one with the movie, they merge. So it's totally fine that the songs themselves are not something that I specifically think of when I think of the movie.
So overall, I liked Oi Lucky, Lucky Oi. It was definitely fun, but in a very unexpected, low-key fashion.
Yes, I have to say that I liked it a lot. I love this subtle dramatic and psychological undercurrent in the story and the performances. It's vibrantly directed and shot, it looks great. This is a movie I can see myself watching again in the not too distant future.
Great. So what would we say in German about Oi Lucky, Lucky Oi?
Oi Lucky, Lucky Oi ist ein raffinierter Film, der aufgrund seines subtilen psychologischen Untertons mehr als eine einfache Komödie ist. Spaß macht er aber in jedem Fall und die fast schon greifbare Visualität ist bemerkenswert.
I give Oi Lucky, Lucky Oi 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.3, but I don't do that.
For me, it's 8 out of 10. It's more like 8.2, but I don't do that either. Devinder Singh aka Bunty Chore was arrested in 2017. Do you know what he said when he was asked why he committed all the robberies?
No idea.
I do it not because I am poor or I need it, I do it because I love it.
Well, good to know. So, what are your thoughts about Oi Lucky, Lucky Oi? Leave a comment. And hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd and also on Patreon, simply at the Jimmy Cage.
And you can hit me up on Twitter at the Bodymeister.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all we have to tell.
Stark. Richtig guter Abgang.